And welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane, whether you're watching us live via YouTube right across Australia and right across the world, or whether you're watching us across Melbourne and Geelong via Channel 31 Melbourne. Now coming up this weekend, huge weekend of motorsport right across Melbourne this weekend. We've got state racing down at Phillip Island, we've got the Australian Hill Climb Championship coming up at down at Haunted Hills, but also out at Calder Park. Well, probably the most, if you're a lover of nitro, and let's face it, who is it? The biggest turnout of nitro burning cars that I can remember that I can ever remember, in fact, 9 nitro burning funny cars. And we're going to find out about that a little bit later on. We're going to be joined by Doug Anderson from the Rustler Funny Car. He's going to tell us about the AeroFlow Outlaw Funny Cars that'll be in action this weekend at Calder Park. But a massive weekend, as I said, of motorsport. We don't have any time to waste. Let's go straight to the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. Well, Jamie Whincup and Paul Dumbrell bounced back from their Bathurst disappointment in the best possible way with a convincing victory at the Gold Coast 600 last weekend. The win keeps Whincup in contention for the title, but he still trails his teammate Shane van Gisbergen by 148 points with 2 rounds remaining. Remarkably, the victory for Whincup and Dumbrell was their first endurance race win in 2 years. The pair dominated the race, with Dumbrell once again proving his great value in endurance events, setting up the win with a strong first stint. Once again, the main challenge to the winners came from within the 888 Empire. A double-stack pit stop for Alex Premer early in the race put the Frenchman and Shane van Gisbergen back in the pack, but a great drive by the pair saw them recover to take second and take out victory in the Pertec Enduro Cup. The only real challenge to the 888 juggernaut was Scott McLaughlin and David Wall in the GRM Volvo, who managed to grab third ahead of Craig Lowndes and Stephen Richards to prevent the 888 clean sweep. The weekend's biggest and most controversial incident happened in Saturday's first leg and involved HRT driver Garth Tander and Team Penske DJR's Fabian Coulthard. Tander made contact with the Falcon driver on the front straight, turning Coulthard into the wall and destroying the Falcon. The Kiwi driver not hiding his anger towards Tander.
Yeah, it was unnecessary more than anything. It was testament to everything the boys have done with our safety cell and things like that. That's done its job, and to walk away, I've had some big ones, and that's well up there. But the disappointing thing is probably easily preventable. But at the end of the day, I'm in one piece.
Remarkably, the DJR team rebuilt the Falcon to have it back on the grid for Sunday's second race. Well, championship racing returns to Phillip Island this weekend with the final round of the 2016 Victorian State Championships. Once again, improved production leads the entry list as local competitors look for some last-minute practice ahead of the big improved production nationals at Island Magic in late November. The meeting will also see the final round of this year's one-maker Hyundai Excel Series with yet another huge field of cars. Other classes in action include sports sedans, sports cars, Formula V and Formula Ford, saloon cars, HQs and more. Racing takes place over 2 days with the final feature races on Sunday afternoon. Also this weekend, the Australian Hill Climb Championships will take place at Bryant Park in Yallourn. The event will feature some outstanding and unique cars, including current champion Malcolm Osler from New South Wales and recent past champions Greg Ackland and Brett Haywood. The field includes Dean Tighe from Queensland in his awesome-sounding Delara Judd. It's worth the price of admission just to hear that thing. And Ron Hay in the Synergy V8 Delara. And for the first time, there'll be an electric car competing. Phil Pratt from the ACT is running an all-electric super sports car. The event commences at 9 a.m. on each day, and they're keeping it affordable. Entry's only $5 per person or $10 per car. Well, coming up in 2 weeks' time, championship racing in Melbourne with a difference. The Melbourne suburb of Templestowe will play host to a major Australian motorsport championship, which will include several top overseas drivers as well. Remarkably, even for the closeted residents of the green leafy suburb, there'll be no complaints about the noise. With the growing threat to the world's environment and the inevitable reduction in world fossil fuel supplies, could this be the motorsport of tomorrow? Radio-controlled model car racing has been around for decades, but like most forms of the sport, the technology is growing at a rapid rate. The cars today are as sophisticated and tunable as anything you'll find on a full-sized racetrack, only a lot smaller. and a lot more affordable.
Cars nowadays are extremely sophisticated. Most of them are forward drive touring cars. So what you find is a full degree of the adjustability. You can adjust suspension, shocks, change shock springs. Generally speaking, they have two differentials, one at the front, one at the rear, again fully adjustable. You can adjust all the geometry of the suspension, including cambers, casters, toe in, toe out, and sway bars, ride height. Virtually every single parameter that you adjust in a real touring car can be adjusted on a remote control car nowadays.
The Templestowe Flat Track Races circuit will be playing host to the upcoming Australian RC Nationals on November the 5th and 6th. It's an event that will not only draw competitors from around Australia but from overseas as well.
We have people coming down from all over Australia. We also have some international drivers coming down also to compete. And we also have juniors competing in the event for the first time. That's something that hasn't happened in the past.
The track is at Templestowe Reserve, Porter Street, Templestowe, with action from the 3rd all the way through to the finals on the 6th. But if you can't make it, there'll be a live stream available as well. For details, check out the In Pit Lane website or the In Pit Lane Facebook page. And in some late-breaking news this afternoon, just as we were going to air, Brad Jones Racing confirmed that Jason Bright would not be driving for the team in 2017. Although not yet confirmed, it is believed that Bright may be replaced by Nick Percat for next year. You're watching In Pit Lane. When we come back, the thunder of Nitro Drag Racing returns to Melbourne's Calder Park. We'll be joined by Outlaw Funny Car team crew member Doug Anderson to preview the big event. Also coming up, we'll take you to this year's Motorclassica and catch up with Rauno Aaltonen, rally legend, and Chad Mcqueen. Plus live music from Afghan pop sensation Taki Khan. Don't go away. We'll be right back. There we are. Welcome back. Welcome back to our YouTube viewers. Yes, the news about Jason Bright, we were all sort of expecting it, but Jason does still own a wreck for the car that he's driving at the moment. So I think you would expect to see Jason back behind the wheel of something next year. I believe he has been talking with Lucas Dumbrell Racing amongst others. So and that would be sort of a straight swap between him and yes. Peter is now asking a question.
Is the competition winner going to be during the show or during
No, it is going to be during the show. We just for those of you who entered the competition last week, we're about to announce the winners of the prize. In fact, I think we'll do that straight out of this break. So,
can you remember to in the interview give me regular countdown?
Okay, we're just about. So whenever they're ready, come back to me, and then we'll go to the winners of the Sandown tickets, and then straight to Doug. Okay. Oh no, well straight to when I throw to the introduction for the funny cars, which I've got somewhere down here. No, I didn't write it down. So there you go. I'll have to wait a little bit. Magic will happen. It'll be stunning. Just ad lib city it'll be. Okay, so whenever you're ready, guys, we'll come back for channel 31.
Is the cue for the funny car intro going to be an obvious one?
It'll be a very obvious one. I'll do that. When I do that, it means run the funny car story. I think that's fairly obvious. Do you
want them to go to black, or do you want them to count down?
We can just count down. If they're still rolling, we can count down. In fact, I'll count down now if they like. There. I'm not only producing and hosting the program, I'm now directing it from back here as well. We're counting down. Here we go. We're coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome back. You're watching In Pit Lane live on YouTube and, of course, via Channel 31 Melbourne and Geelong. We had a fabulous response to our competition last week to win tickets to the historic Sandown. Now, the question we asked is, how many Grands Prix did Sir Jack Brabham win? And to be honest with you, only one person got it right, technically, and that person was none other than Ron Hossack, the father of sports stand driver Darren Hossack, because as he pointed out, Sir Jack won 14 World Championship Grands Prix, but he also won 3 Australian Grands Prix and also 3 New Zealand Grands Prix for a total of 20. So so Ron got it right, but look, we're giving it away on the case of 14 as well. So the other winners were Jeff Welsh of Patterson Lakes, Lachlan Fowler from Yarragon, Gary Bendel from Croydon, and Pravin from Roval. They are the winners. We had a brief thing there, but anyway, that's there. Now, coming up this weekend out at Calder Park on Saturday night, the return of nitro burning action. This is going to be one of the biggest turnouts of nitro cars I think we have ever seen at Calder. No less than 9 Outlaw Funny Cars. And if you're wondering what an Outlaw Funny Car is, it looks like this.
It's just evil. You stand on the throttle and just all hell breaks loose.
As soon as the wheels touch the ground, it's just a constant battle to keep it in the middle of the track, keep it in the grooves.
They go left, they go right, they just don't go straight.
Really got to wrestle these cars to get them to go straight. It's a wild sensation, a bit like riding a bull. Jumping on the bull, smacking it on the backside and hanging on. Make sure it's an angry bull butt too, eh?
Yes, some great action there, and the local representative in the Outlaw Funny Cars is the Rustler, and to find out all about the Rustler Funny Car team from the team is Doug Anderson. Doug, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, first of all, what is an Outlaw Nitro Funny Car? How is it different from your normal Nitro Funny Car?
Outlaw Nitro Funny Car was a concept from Wendy and Graham Cowan. Basically, we're limited with our blower size, we're limited with the magneto size and the fuel pump size. So it basically means we're all on the same level playing field without the money coming into it.
And that would assume, I suppose, that the cars are perhaps slightly more reliable in terms of getting down the track and being able to turn them over nice and quickly?
They are reliable. Turning them over,
as reliable as a nitro car can be.
As a nitro can be. They're very explosive. Basically going down the track, you'll see flames coming out, probably about 6-7 foot high. Wheels up. They don't go straight. They're like a shopping trolley with broken wheels, and they just hammer. They thump.
I certainly can't remember, as I said in the intro, this many nitro funny cars ever being out at Calder Park.
No, you'd have to go back to about the 80s when they were bringing out the Americans, and you had Jungle Jim Carter and Hoffman, all that out here racing. But 9 cars, 2 wheel standers, which are awesome vehicles.
You know, that's something else I haven't seen since I was a kid. Wild Bill Shrewsbury, the LA Dart, so it's a long time ago. And for those who don't know, people saying, what's a wheel stander? Just explain the concept of a wheel stander for people who haven't seen it before.
A wheel stander is a car that will do the quarter mile plus extra on its rear wheels. There's no floor in the car, and it's actually steered by brakes. So you pull the handle back, the left brake works or the right brake works. And the kids who are driving, I call them kids, they're only about 25 years of age. They just handle them magnificently down the track. And they've flames coming out the back, their wheels up, and they're doing over 100 mile an hour on the quarter mile on their back wheels. Yeah, they've got like
skids with those sparks flying. They're really spectacular. If you haven't seen them, they're really spectacular.
Yeah.
Now, with the funny cars running, I suppose the whole idea behind this is, to put on a show and to make like a really, but once you get onto the track, how serious does it become?
Once the fiberglass body comes down, the guy in the other lane's the enemy. We muck around outside. We have a dig at each other for being from Queensland or New South Wales, even Western Australia. But it is serious when racing happens. So there's rivalry between the teams, and at the end of it, it's just get-togethers.
We saw in that package just a moment ago that a lot of the cars are sort of what you'd call more nostalgia bodies and all that. But your car is a bit more modern. What's the cutoff in terms of body style? Are they? I mean, is there an era that they're supposed to represent?
There is a bit of an era that they're supposed to represent. Ours is basically one of the latest ones, a 2000 model. As you saw in the film clip, Nitro Express, it's a 57 Chev. The Bandit, which is a Trans Am. Bumblebee, I think, is a Pontiac. So there's all different body shapes as such.
And that's the thing, it's going back to the days when funny cars were just funny, as distinct from now when they're completely ridiculous and bear no resemblance to anything that you see on the road at all.
Yeah. Those ones are still a car shape, and like, Dark Horse is about a 70 model Mustang, and people can look at the car and say, oh, Grandpa had one of those, or, that's one of the ones I'd like.
Also coming up this weekend at Calder, the Australian Pro Street Association are running there as well. These are pretty crazy cars as well.
These are unbelievable cars, these Pro Street guys. Basically turbocharged, nitrous oxide, all blowing cars, and they wheels up straight down the track.
And some of them are running like 6 seconds now. I remember when 6 seconds, when Ash Marshall ran 6 seconds in a top fueler, and we went, oh my God. These are basically highly modified street cars that are now running 6 second times.
Yep, yeah, the old GT HOs and all that, they're down around the 7s, and as I said, they're wheels up, and they're awesome to watch.
Yes, it's going to be a spectacular day. About what time do you guys kick off, hit the track on Saturday?
I'm led to believe that the Pro Street guys will start at about 1 o'clock. We'll start probably around about 4 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, and then probably 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so look, if you haven't been out to the drags before, especially if you've got kids that they've never seen or heard and experienced top fuel action, you really, nitro burning cars are just another world. If you haven't, and you've got to go out and see it. Television doesn't do them justice.
Yeah, and the best part about the sport is you can actually come up, have a look at the cars up close, doesn't cost you any extra, and you can talk to the drivers and they sign stuff. So it's a big family thing.
Well, we're looking forward to it this weekend. It's great to see any sort of drag racing back at Calder, but to see so many nitro cars and some wheel standers is going to bring back a lot of memories for people like of my generation, and hopefully attract a whole new generation. Doug, good luck on the weekend as you tune that car, but for now, thanks for joining us in Pit Lane.
Thank you for having us.
And we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to take you to Motorclassica. We're going to catch up with rally legend Rauno, Aaltonen, and also with Chad Mcqueen, the son of Steve Mcqueen, to talk about his famous movie Le Mans. Also, we're going to have some live music from Afghan pop sensation Tucky Khan. You're watching In Pit Lane. We'll be right back after this break. Just incredible. We're just talking about the noise of the nitro cars. A few years ago, I've got a really crook back. I got a couple of discs and that wrong in my back. I got home after the Nationals, the second last time the Nationals were here, and I ended up in Dandenong Hospital with just the most. And they said, "What have you done?" And I said, "I don't know. I haven't." And we figured out that it was because I was standing on the start line filming. It was the vibrations coming from the top fuel dragsters that had flared up the internal structure of the discs and caused the problem. That's how loud and powerful and visceral they are. Oh, yeah. Fabulous things. So anybody who's been and seen top fuel races doesn't need us to explain it. Hey, thanks for coming in. Good luck with that. We'll get you to just sit there for the moment because we'll go back to our friends at Channel 31. But yeah, good luck with it on the weekend, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so when we get ready, are we ready to come back? Are they ready on? They're ready in the control room. Okay, then in that case, let's say, Peter, you can count down, Pete. I don't want to do you out of a job, Pete.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, last weekend was the annual Motorclassica event, and once again there were large crowds on hand to see some of the best historic cars in Australia and from overseas. Also on hand, two special VIP guests, both with a strong connection to the rich history of motorsport, but from two wildly different backgrounds. Motorclassica has quickly become Australia's premier classic motor show. A stunning collection of cars and bikes from all over Australia and overseas were again on offer for the 2016 edition, held last weekend at the historic Royal Exhibition Buildings in Carlton.
The following that we've achieved has really cemented our reputation as the Concours d'Elegance event in the Southern Hemisphere, certainly within Southeast Asia. And that's pretty exciting for an event that had a pretty humble kind of beginning, for an event that everybody said would never happen.
Once again, Motorclassica featured special VIP guests from overseas. This year's guests were rally champion and 1966 Bathurst winner Rauno Aaltonen and filmmaker and racer Chad Mcqueen, son of Hollywood legend Steve Mcqueen. Chad was at Motorclassica to talk about his father and his recent documentary on his father's classic motorsport movie, Le Mans.
He captured everything in that picture that needed to be captured. That's part of that race, part of that weekend. When it first came out, people thought it was junk, but it's become such a cult classic. And you know, I can go to Silverstone, I can go to Abu Dhabi, and there'll be some kid in a Formula Ford that can barely shave. He said, "I love your dad's movie, Le Mans." So it's found a life, maybe not the box office life that they would have liked, the studios, but it found the audience my dad wanted to find, you know, and that was the racers. So that to me is, because I saw how hard my dad worked on it, it's kind of a proud moment for me, you know, when people, little kids drive from the Ford say, that's a 40-year-old film, and it means something to them, so that's cool. When my dad was dying in Mexico, he showed the staff in the clinic Le Mans. He was proud of it, and it was his vision, and he fought all the way to make it his vision, and that's what's up there on screen. And ultimately, he was right, dude. I mean, we're talking about 43 years later, so it made an impact, and that's all my dad gave a shit about.
For Rauno Aaltonen, he'll be forever part of Australian popular culture history as a former Bathurst winner. 50 years on, he remembers the famous Mount Panorama circuit well and in great detail.
Well, first of all, when you come there, it's very impressive to have this Mount Panorama in the background. And basically, it's more or less of a triangle circuit. One side it has a contour straight, very straight. Then they did not have a chicane there, as that was later. And then you have those sharp corners where the braking point was very important, where you start slowing down. And then I loved especially the top, where you had this sweeping bends and the dipper and coming down to a sharper corner. I liked it. It was nice. It was driving. I had my contract with BMC basically as a rally driver, and they had their own circuit driver team. But they used to send us rally drivers to important races, to long distance races, difficult circuits, because as a rally driver we had to be able to master the control of the car better than, I say, a normal circuit driver, because a normal circuit driver, not putting them down, saying that they had this specialty, the expertise to be smooth, to be fast. And for us rally drivers, for us the target is to win, not to be smooth. But you know, you have to find a compromise between these two. You have to be smooth enough to be able to win.
To see our interviews with Chad Mcqueen and Rauno Aaltonen in full, you can check them out on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. And while you're there, remember to like and subscribe. Yes, and those interviews will be up basically as soon as I can get them up when I get home. So you can stay tuned for that on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. Both terrific interviews. Now, that's all the time we have this week on In Pit Lane. And to play us out tonight is Taki Khan, a popular singer in the local Afghan community. He'll be seen right across Melbourne, but next February he'll be seen at a big multicultural festival happening at the Drum Theatre in Dandenong. You can find out, if you just search for takikhan.com, you'll find out all about his music. So until we see you next week, which is, of course, the time-honoured running of the Melbourne Gup, it's time to say good night, and here's Taki Khan with his song Kabul. Good night.
برایش خانه کابل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم شوم زرگر برای دل برخو او شوم زرگر برای دل برخو از الماسی سفید چار گل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم برایش خانه در کابل بسازم برایش خانه در کابل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم شوم زرگر برای دل برخو شوم زرگر برای دل برخو از الماسی سفید چار گل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم شوم آهوی دشت و کوسارا روم تا سوی شهر بهارا شوم آهوی دشت و کوسارا روم تا سوی شهر بهارا برای شب نمی شب در بیارم و یا رنگین کمان باد باران و یا رنگین کمان باد باران برایش خانه در کابل بسازم برایش خانه در کابل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم شوم زرگر برای دل برخو شوم زرگر برای دل برخو از الماسی سفید چار گل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم شکوفه های لالک را برایش همه گل های پیچک را برایش شکوفه های لالک را برایش همه گل های پیچک را برایش بچینم از هزارست و بیارم بپاشم دانه دانه زیر پایش بپاشم دانه دانه زیر پایش برایش خانه در کابل بسازم برایش خانه در کابل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم شوم زرگر برای دل برخو شوم زرگر برای دل برخو از الماسی سفید چار گل بسازم او را از گل کده مقبول بسازم او را